welcome to the Young Men's Podcast. This is our second episode. Today I'm joined by my co-host Connor Stiles and our good friend Christian Broberg. Today we are talking about music that has influenced us, specifically relating to recurring themes or questions that we've had on our mind, fears and stuff like that. So we've created very specific questions for very specific circumstances in our lives. And we're going to be talking about what songs would you listen to in those instances. I'm your host, Josh Richardson, and we are going to start with this question. Before we get into song specifics, we wanted to talk a little bit about where we listen to music the most, or where music moves us the most. I'm just going to open that up to you guys.
Connor, do you want to tackle that one? I'm interested to hear.
Yeah, I would probably say that my car is the place where I just really jam out to music. And part of that is because I'm just driving around and I'm able to focus on the music more. But the other half of that is I can sing as loud as I want to the music and no one can hear it. And so it's just a very comfortable space for me to enjoy music in.
There's something about that safety there. I think not only singing out loud, but dancing, I get way more confident in what I do with my body when I'm in the confines of my car. That's so true.
Christian, you're a car dancer. Do you feel any sort of shame at all when other people pull up next to you at a red light and you're dancing? Do you just tone it down, or do you just keep on going?
No, I've learned to embrace it. I mean, when you're pulling up to that red light, you always know, okay, maybe I need to dial it back 2 notches. But if I make eye contact, I think it's an opportunity to make someone's day, make them laugh a little bit, rather than hide in shame. So I own it.
That's beautiful. When's the last time you had a little dance competition with the person next to you in a car? Do you involve other people in your dancing?
You know, a few nights ago, we were pulling up along 900 or 9th by BYU, and there was a girl that was dancing. Here again is this opportunity: do I dance and compete? Do I give her space? In that instance, I chose to just give her privacy because she glanced over, and I made sure she knew I didn't see. Carry on, each their own.
That's awesome. I had a dancing. I don't usually dance in my car for other people to see. Usually if there's people around, I'll tone it down a little bit. But recently I had an experience for work. I was just driving a van full of kids around, and there was a car next to us. They were listening to a Taylor Swift song, and we were listening to Baby Shark or something like that. And we both rolled down our windows. Everybody turned their volume up, and we just danced together. It was really fun. Probably not the song of choice for me that I would like to be seen dancing to, but it was still really fun. I would also say that car is the place where I listen to music the most. I can't tell you how many times I've just taken my car up the canyon or to the top of a mountain overlooking the city and had really moving sorts of experiences listening to music. There is something about the security and safety of your own car that lets you just not worry about anything else except the music that you're listening to. Have you guys had similar experiences? Christian, I know I've talked to you before about having those sorts of moving experiences with music in your car. Connor, you've had those too, I'm sure.
Yeah, I
definitely
personally have. One of my experiences will probably harken back to later on in this podcast, but I think you touched on a good point, Josh, of that privacy. Especially if you're driving alone, you don't have to share what you're thinking to anyone. You don't have to worry about what, anything else. That your attention is fully on whatever song that is. And I think there's something about driving too that's soothing and relaxing. So definitely, I feel like I'm able to be reached much more when I'm in my car. One story that came to mind: we were driving home from Lake Powell, and there was a massive thunder and lightning storm, and my wife and I decided to listen to some Billie Eilish, which was kind of a moody, dark vibe while lightning's flashing left and right. Coolest experience ever.
Honestly, I love, well, that made me think about an experience that I had a year ago. It was just a nighttime drive. I think I was on a road trip and I was coming back from this long road trip. All the lights were down. It was also kind of stormy. And to be able to just put on mood music and just sit in the silence of your car. Everything outside is muffled. You can hear it, but it doesn't come through super well. And then the songs are just playing really loudly in your car. Oh, it's hard to beat that. Guys, let's dive into these questions. We wanted to start out with a power question. So the first question is, what song makes you cry? Connor, take us away on this one.
Yeah, the song that kind of immediately came to mind was See You Again by Charlie Puth and Wiz Khalifa, which was a song that I think all meant something to us, at least our freshman year of college, because we listened to it a lot, and we even rewrote the lyrics to it to sing to some friends before we all went our separate ways. But it's just kind of the idea behind it, and just the fact. I mean, I think in the song they're thinking about people that they've lost, and just wanting to kind of be able to reconnect with them and talk to them about things. Luckily, I haven't lost really anyone super close to me, but just kind of that idea of just reconnecting with people and wanting to talk to them, but just kind of thinking, you know what, one day we'll be able to kind of just talk about everything and unload. It just makes me feel sad. It makes me like, well, it's like a good feeling, but it makes me want to cry too.
Happy and sad.
Yeah.
Did that song come out that same year that we were in school, 2014-15? That freshman year?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, even I would say maybe within 6 months before we all left. Connor, that's a great answer. That one it hits deep. It hits somewhere deep. It's a good one.
And in case you're wondering, Christian was the one who rewrote the lyrics for our friends. And when we performed that song for them in a little piano room, and Christian, you sat down at the piano and you played all of the chords of the song, and then we took turns singing the different verses that you had written. And I think everybody was just bawling. And it was a really sweet and happy memory. We didn't talk to any of those friends after that experience. We thought those friendships were going to last forever, but they didn't. But that's fine. In that one moment when we were sharing that music, it was really awesome. Christian, what's your song you cry to?
So the song that I cried to is Prince of Egypt, and it's Deliver Us. It's the opening song in that movie, and this was when I was showing my wife this song for the first time, and we were listening to it on a Sunday, and all of a sudden I just began to bawl, just weep, ugly tears about this song, and my sweet wife was just laughing like, what's wrong with you? And pull yourself together. Are you okay? But there was something about what they were saying, and this is like a people who were burdened, who had been promised that they would receive relief, but had yet to experience it, and they were really at their peak moment where they're about to break, and this song is a plea of help. And in this movie, you know that they're going to receive that help later on. So it was this emotional feeling of, man, these people, just hold on a little bit longer. Help is coming. But I just felt that this song was so talently performed, so moving. It was leveled at 100% with passion, emotion, and energy. And that day, it got me.
When I listened to that song, after you had written it down on our notes, that did not feel like a 7-minute song. That felt like a 3-minute song because of how good it was. The unified voices that were all singing so powerfully and earnestly throughout the whole thing, and then the way that the song ended with a single voice crying out for help. Oh my gosh. Relatable to every single human being, feeling those ultra lows and just pleading for some kind of help and relief. That song was amazing. And also, I didn't even realize this until I looked it up, but Hans Zimmer had some role to play in that music writing, didn't he?
Naturally, right? It's
I
that
think this is going
good.
to be a reoccurring theme for us through this podcast, Hans Zimmer.
Josh, what was yours?
Mine, well, okay. I was at a concert that was being put on by a local university, and it was a choral concert. The choral pieces were great, but the Utah Symphony came as a guest performers, and they played a song called, I have to even look at it because I really, it's a long name, but it's by Elgar something. He was like a court commissioned composer for English Parliament, and the song was called one of his Enigma variations was a set of pieces that he had created. This is number 9, called Nimrod. But anyways, the orchestra was playing it, and I wasn't prepared for this, but the music just was building up, and it was such a triumphant song. This is what I thought of when I was listening to it. Defiant resoluteness in the face of overwhelming challenges. It felt so like stand your ground, stand fast, and hold strong through challenging things. And it ended so triumphantly. And then there was just a tiny little section after that triumphant bit at the end that was like resolution and peace and calm. And I was looking up this song afterwards, but someone had said that the composer who wrote this song had a lot of depressive episodes. He lacked confidence in all of his work. And his friend constantly was reminding him of people like Beethoven, whose music increased in beauty despite all of their anxieties that they were increasingly feeling in their lives. And so this song that the composer wrote represents that friend who kept giving him encouragement and telling him, like, believe in yourself and overcome these self-doubt challenges. So I thought that was awesome, but I didn't know any of that when I listened to the song originally. And I was on the second row, and I just started bawling, and I had to go up to the orchestra afterwards and just ask them what that song was. And you could tell that they were all moved by the music that they were playing as well. So that continues to be a song that makes me cry.
Well, Josh, I think you hit on 2 really good points about live music and even the impact that music can have when it doesn't have any words. Sometimes for me, the words, they can carry a lot of weight or they can distract. And when you're listening to an orchestral piece, it's almost like you're making up your own words, your own message. And then that second level of listening to it live, I mean, that I can imagine that would be really moving.
It was incredible to be able to hear all the different pieces of the orchestra coming together. And I think that's why they're considered the master composers, these old classical artists. To be able to create a feeling and a story with music and without words, like you said, is pretty incredible. All right, next question. Song that no one else thinks is cool, but I love. Christian, let's start with you on this one.
So this one is an embarrassing answer. These next few are probably going to be embarrassing answers. But this artist, Marina and the Diamonds, now she just goes by Marina. She's quirky. She's strange.
You can say that again.
And her tone of voice is not the most lovely thing. But there's something about this song. The song I chose was Oh No. And it has a drive, some momentum, some aggression even. It's like an angsty pop a little bit, leaning more towards the pop side. It's definitely not a song Josh would ever choose to listen to.
No.
And I just love it. There's something about it. There's this unflinching attitude when she sings. And for me, there's something in that that's compelling. And I think, well, you go, girl.
Okay, well, that's interesting that you said angsty, and what else did you say?
Unflinching.
Unflinching. I had written down so sassy, doesn't let up at all. It was like a constant beat, and it was like really energizing for sure. So, Yeah.
I keep that one close to the chest, and I don't suggest that one too often because it really is its own genre. It's not a medicine for the masses by any means.
Connor, did you have a chance to listen to that one?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's also probably not one that I would just choose to listen to very often, but yeah, it's kind of a fun song.
Well, that's okay. Well, Christian is being authentic to this question, song that no one else thinks is cool, but I love. So well done, Christian. You found one that fulfills the requirements of that question perfectly. Connor, take us away.
I chose a Test Drive from How to Train Your Dragon, and I don't know that it's necessarily a song that other people wouldn't think is cool, but it's not really a song anyone ever thinks or talks about, probably. But it's a song that I listen to probably more often than I would like to admit, just because it's just powerful and I don't know. I really like it.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we're defining cool as like pop music that you'd hear on the radio, okay, yeah, it's not cool, but everyone loves this song. This song is amazing and so emotional, and John Powell is a wizard. Yeah,
I was just gonna add any of those early DreamWorks movie production music. They're strong, and this is one of those that I just think, man, this is a good one. But I agree, it's probably lesser known, Connor, lesser listened to, but we're certainly fans. We love this one.
it's another one of those songs that doesn't have any lyrics, but it feels like you're flying when you're listening to it. And the song title is Test Drive. I think when they're what's the dragon's name?
Toothless.
Toothless. Hiccup is flying with Toothless one of the first times. So that's awesome.
I was going to say Buckbeak, but that's the wrong movie.
All right. My song that I don't think anyone else thinks is cool, but I love, is called Leviathan by a band, Everything Everything. Do you guys have those bands that someone recommended to you when you were younger? And maybe they're not a great band at all, but for some reason you continue listening to them for nostalgia's sake. That's what Everything Everything is for me. I actually think they are a great band. They're a British band. Their music is really quirky and weird. Do you guys remember the song Kimosabi or Photoshop Handsome? I think I played quite a bit of it freshman year.
Kimosabi's more familiar to me than the other.
Connor, do you remember those songs?
Oh yeah, I feel like we listened to Kimosabi a lot freshman year, and I actually grew to like it, but I never expanded to much more of Everything's music.
Well, it took a while to for those songs to grow on you because they are really weird. But this entire album was written lyrically by AI, and so they just created the music, and the song has like this really eerie, mystical sort of feel, and it's even more eerie knowing that AI wrote the song. But I just think the music is really beautiful. It has like a chill bass line against this guy's high falsetto voice. And they have high accented isolated guitar, which I really love. So any music that's like ambient, nighttime driving music, I think is really awesome.
Josh, when I was listening to this one, I thought it had great momentum, a great rolling beat to it, and I loved that. And you already hit this, but the falsetto, I mean, he's got great falsetto, and it paired really well with the synth and the electric chords. I just thought it was very well layered.
When a guy can hit falsetto in a song and make it sound good, it's pretty impressive. I would say stay away from all of live performance videos on YouTube for everything. Sometimes that falsetto does not turn out in real life. So, all right. We're moving on to the next question. Song that I would be embarrassed to admit to my friends that I love. Similar sort of train of thought here, but I'm going to go ahead and start us off on this one. Song that I would choose is I Love Me by Meghan Trainor. I am really sad that I'm coming late to the Meghan Trainor game. I feel like I'm 10 years behind on music sometimes, but I was listening to this with the kids that I work with, and I couldn't stop myself from dancing in the car when it came on. I just absolutely love it. It's a good motivational, self pump up song. It doesn't fit my personality at all, but I know most of the lyrics now, and I sing along every time it comes on. We don't need to talk more about it, but Christian, you want to talk about yours?
No. We can't let you off that hook. I was listening to this, Josh, and it just made me smile because I know that's not your go-to, but it was a really good self-anthem, pump me up. And all I could think of was this song could be in the background of an Ocean's movie, like Ocean's 11, when they're preparing for a heist. And I didn't know if that was the jazz guitar or the fact that Lunch Money Lewis was featured on this song, but I thought it was great. So.
Well, thank you for your validation. That was nice. All right, Christian.
Yeah, I can go.
Yep.
So, again, we're still in the embarrassing section of this interview and this podcast, but
I have so many things to say about this song. Go for
the
it.
one that I chose was "We Are Who We Are" by Kesha. Again, I don't even know what to say. I think what makes this song enjoyable for me is the nostalgic component. That this was really big during high school. And so I was around a lot of people that listened to this, and I can hear myself trying to make excuses, but in reality, it's just good. I just like to dance with it. It's quite embarrassing. I very, very rarely admit this. Same with Dangerous Woman, Ariana Grande. These are these strong female anthem singers, and something about this just mainstream pop is great. I think Kesha has that similar vibe to Marina and the Diamonds, where she's got this really low quality vocal style, but she's
At least we can call it like it is.
She's so overly confident that I think it carries her more than her talent.
Connor, what are your thoughts on "We Are Who We Are"?
I actually like that song as well. It's not one that I listen to often because I do feel shame when I listen to it. But it's like this weird mixture of I'm ashamed of myself right now, but at the same time, I enjoy it. And so I can get where Christian's coming from.
I just can't get past the accents and the grammar. Like, grammar example, the way that she strings some words together. Of course we does. That just hurt my English literature background. She said cars. I wrote this down, and I played this part over again several times just to make sure that I got the intonations down correctly. But the word cars, she pronounced curs. And spelling that out, I think there was at least 3 R's in there. But I couldn't get past that. Dangerous Woman, Ariana Grande, I absolutely get behind. She has like a powerful, flawless voice. So I have no qualms with that whatsoever. But the kind of the whiny voice of Kesha and the bad grammar, I just couldn't do it. It was like watching a Twilight movie. I couldn't get through it.
Well said, Josh. The yes, of course we does that's just something else. I agree, but that confidence, I guess. Yeah, Ariana Grande though, great vocals, always strong. Connor, what's your song?
Mine was "See You Again" by Miley Cyrus, and I mean it's kind of in the same boat as Kesha for me. This was like earlier Miley Cyrus, but just the beat in that song, and it just gets me. And so that's one that I definitely only listen to when I'm alone, but it's one that I can't help but like dance to a little bit too. So yeah, it's not one for the public eyes.
I literally laughed out loud when I listened to this song and thought of you, Connor. It is really forceful. It just reminds me of like high school drama. And that techno bass line, holy smokes, that comes through real strong. But I'm really glad that you like it and find joy. That's the whole point. Like, who cares if other people don't like your music? As long as it puts a smile on your face, I guess that's the only thing that matters.
there's this whole era of early thousands, 2000s pop anthems that lean a little more on the rock side. Many of them produced by Disney Channel and their stars, and I think this falls into that category where they're just like decent songs to fall back on. But again, that nostalgia component I think carries it too.
It really does. Nostalgia plays such a huge role in music influence currently, so I love that. Okay, we're transitioning a little bit away from embarrassing songs. Now we're getting contemplative. Contemplative? Is that how you say that? Okay.
Contemplative.
Contemplative. All right, this next question. Song for when I need a deep think about my life. Connor, take us away on this one.
Midnight by Coldplay was one that came to mind pretty quick. And that's one that I definitely listen to when I'm driving through a canyon and it's night out, and some people think about they have those deep like shower thoughts, but like my car at night is when I just really contemplate life. And Midnight just provides like the perfect background for me for that. It just the sound of the music itself, and then just kind of the soothing nature of the lyrics just puts me in that life contemplating mood.
Well, I have this song as an answer to another question, so I have more to say about the song later. But Christian, Midnight as a deep thinking song, how do you feel about that one?
Couldn't agree more. I think you already said this, Connor, but the background, the sound, even just the kind of soothing, minimal lyrics, it puts your mind right at ease and opens that headspace up to just start thinking and pondering. It's a great answer.
It's almost like one of those YouTube videos, just putting on like beta waves or whatever. It's that same sort of effect when you listen to that song. Like Christian said, it just automatically puts you in a thinking state of mind.
It's a great comparison, Josh. Great comparison.
All right. The song that I chose is "Stop This Train" by John Mayer. This is honestly a favorite of everybody's that is a fan of John Mayer. Here's why I like it. It's so relatable. John Mayer is a master of writing songs that express human emotions so clearly. In my mind, the song is about worries and just wanting to stop all of the crazy things that are happening in life, which is such a human feeling, and then arriving at a really sweet conclusion. So whenever I'm faced with like really difficult challenges or things that I can't work through, I find relatability in the song. And then I find hope at the end through John Mayer's conclusion that there is a little bit of beauty in just letting life play out and not pausing it, but just letting it go on.
That was another song that I thought of for this question, but for the sake of variety, I went with the Coldplay song. But it really does just I feel like it's something that resonates with everyone. I mean, you have these worries about going through life and decisions you have to make, and sometimes you just want it to slow down. But like a train, it just keeps on going. And so, like you mentioned, you kind of, at the end, he comes to peace with that. And I think listening to that song always helps me come to peace with it as well.
Well said. Yeah.
Josh, as I was listening to this one, it took me to Portland, Oregon on Saturdays, misty pavement and the rain. And I just think his guitar and his vocals, it pulls those thoughts right out of you and just gets you thinking. It primes the pump, so to speak. And of course, his great and unique guitar skills as well. It's a great song for deep thinking.
Really, like, it feels like a simple guitar, but it's so beautiful and elegant, and it really does pull those thoughts out of your head. All right, Christian, Cats in the Cradle.
Yes, Harry Chapin. Did either of you get a chance to listen through this one and the lyrics?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This one is a toughie because this song instantly leaves you thinking, am I spending my life in the right way? Am I putting my time in the right areas? And are the people that are most important to me receiving my best attention? And I listened to this one as a kid, and it, more than any other song, motivates me to be a good dad. And for those listening who haven't heard it, I would invite you to listen to it. But you watch this father, and he works so hard to provide for his family, and his son really pays attention to that and soaks that up. And so as you listen through the song, you learn about the effect that it had on his family. So for me, I chose a song that makes me think about something very specific, what kind of a dad I want to be, rather than a song that I could listen or think about any topic. So that's why I chose this one.
It's interesting how music when we're younger, I don't know, maybe you were thinking deeply, or the song was making you think deeply about life when you were younger, but this was just a bop song that you heard on the radio on the oldies station. It was just a really bouncy song, easy to get into. It's interesting, the older you get, the more you pay attention to lyrics and how you realize a lot of artists are going through a lot of similar human struggles that we're going through. And they do such a good job of expressing those struggles in a way that's relatable and makes you think about your life. So I think that's really awesome that you use the song as kind of a motivational song for your own parenting. And you are a great father, Christian, so no need to worry about that.
Oh, thank you, Josh. I think what you said reminds me of Edward Elgar from the Enigma song, his ability to put into music this common human feeling, a common human experience. I think that's why we gravitate towards these artists.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Song for when I feel misunderstood. Christian, you want to lead us out on this one?
Absolutely. This one, pretty straightforward. Window to the Past by John Williams from the third Harry Potter movie. I think maybe the reason I chose this song is because I think the character I love so much, Harry, frequently feels misunderstood in this movie. And this song pairs well with many cinematic shots of him leaning against a bridge window and looking out a window at his friends who get to go somewhere where he doesn't. And you just see him thinking and even sometimes feeling neglected. And while I don't always share those feelings or emotions, this song is very easy to let my mind go to that space if I do feel misunderstood or lonely. It's a very soft and soothing song for that time.
I love this movie score so much. Sorry, Connor, were you going to say something?
No.
Well, Christian, the music, you're right, does communicate Harry's frustrations with feeling left out. It's such a sad scene when he's not able to go to Hogsmeade with everybody else. For me, the song is also really sweet because I think it's played during a lot of his interactions with Remus Lupin, and Remus being his solitary friend while everybody else is gone, and being with Harry, reminiscing about his parents and about his past, but also helping him look forward to the future. This song, I think, is one of John Williams' best, in my personal opinion. So I really love that you chose it.
Yeah, I think it's melancholy, and that lends itself well for this question of feeling misunderstood, because all melancholy songs have that two-edge to them where you can be sad, but you can also feel soothed or feel hope as well.
Well said. Yeah. All right, Connor, you want to tell us about your song?
Yeah, I chose Anchor by Novo Amor. And it's not necessarily anything with the lyrics that help me when I feel misunderstood. It's more, I guess, the memories surrounded by it. So that's just a song. Novo Amor is just an artist in general, where my last year of college, there was a group of friends that I became really close with, spent a lot of time with. And Novo Amor was just an artist that we all really liked that kind of made us all feel really peaceful. So I think it's more during those times when I'm feeling misunderstood that song reminds me of like a place where I always felt understood. And I could have chosen other songs that I know that we all really like as well, like Alive by Jose Gonzalez, but I used that for a different question, or Stay Alive. So I didn't use it for this one. But I think it's just kind of the memories around that song that just reminds me that there are people out there that do understand me.
That is a beautiful take on this question and a beautiful explanation why you love this song. And it was interesting. I feel like through our college years, there was this huge push towards folk music. And we had a lot of people around us listening to folk music a lot. And I think Nova More is one of the best out there for contemplative folk music. And I think you made a really good choice in that song.
Yeah, it's so well said, Connor. That is so well said. Think about turning to a song that has roots among friends or people that showed understanding. I think that's fantastic. It's a great song and a great answer.
All right. Now we are moving away from sweet nostalgia.
You know, Josh, we did miss your answer to this question.
Oh, you missed mine. My goodness. Thanks, Christian. I really love this song, so I'm glad you reminded me. So this is a remix of a song called Open End Resource. I've never actually listened to the original song, but I found this remix somehow. This is why I love this song and why I feel like it applies, why I listen to it when I feel misunderstood. So the song is it's kind of muffled lyrics. I really don't know what any of the lyrics are at all, but the sound kind of moves you along quickly, and then all of a sudden, 3/4 of the way through the song, the music just breaks, and there's this very clear voice that rings out, and the line is, "Who I am." And it's the only lyrics that I know from that song, but that one line is repeated over and over again. It's almost like an anthem or just an affirmation that I kind of sing along with when I'm listening to the song. I'm like, I may be misunderstood, but I know who I am, or I'm trying to understand who I am, or there are beautiful things about me that maybe I don't quite understand, but I want to understand. So it is kind of a grounding song for me that I listen to. And it's also not a slow song, so it kind of hypes me up a little bit.
It's a good one. I had never heard this one, but I felt like it was a great mixture of folk, lo-fi, some falsetto. I wrote in my notes is John Mayer meets Imogen Heap, if anyone knows who that is. But I think it's a great mixture there.
It is. Everyone that knows me knows that I love lo-fi sounding music, and this is definitely one of those. So awesome. All right, the next question. Song that my parents always played on road trips, but well, let me rephrase this. Song that my parents always played on road trips that I hated, but now I have come to love. I'm going to go ahead and start out on this one. Connor and I have similar answers. We both picked James Taylor songs. The song that I chose was I Was a Fool to Care. Basically, James Taylor, we listened to it so much on road trips that we all just sighed every time he was put on. And we only had like 5 CDs in the car, I swear, that we listened to. There was like Clarence Creedwater Revival, which was our favorite. We had James Taylor, Cat Stevens, Jim Croce, Gordon Lightfoot, some of those other early folk artists or soft rock artists. I really had an issue with that 80s sound and soft rock. But now that I'm listening to it again after I've given it a break for a while, I really love this song and James Taylor in general. His baritone voice is not the most glamorous voice, but holy smokes, it is so smooth, soothing, and it just goes along with his acoustic playing so well. Connor, you chose Carolina in My Mind, which is another great James Taylor song. This is one that you hated early on.
Yeah, and it's essentially for the same reasons. We had a James Taylor greatest hits CD that we always listened to, and then we had like the Beach Boys greatest hits, which I really like Beach Boys, but James Taylor I didn't at first. But then I guess just over the years I've grown to actually like it. now that we don't really listen to it on road trips anymore. Maybe that gave me the space I needed.
Yeah. Was that album that you guys had, was it the white one? It was just white and there was a list of songs in the middle.
Yeah, I think so.
James Taylor Greatest Hits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic. That's got to be, I got to check the numbers on that one. That one's got to be like one of the highest sold albums, because I swear every middle-aged couple has that album. So
It's so true. There's something quintessentially like 70s about his music, and maybe into the early 80s, and I think all of our parents' age just loved it. He was used in my parents' wedding video, their wedding reception video, and he's a very safe artist, very innocent vocals, but a good option. I listen to him today, and I'm like, yeah, I can see why people loved him.
yeah, he is amazing. And a safe option. So if you're wedding planning out there, James Taylor on the playlist, not a bad choice. All right, Christian, take it away.
Yeah, on this one, I chose Rock the Casbah by The Clash. This is an 80s song. And my mom has a dear friend of hers, and she knew that my mom would be taking us on a long drive to Utah, and so out of the kindness of her heart, made a mixtape. Not on a tape cassette, but on CDs. And she gave my mom 4 CDs packed to the brim with 80s songs that they would have loved. So for the first, 4 hours of this drive, my mom was showing all of us every song on these CDs. And when we got to this song, she was just dancing. And I thought, this song is so weird. It's just a strange song. Dancing. There's a lyric that says, the king called out his jet fighters, and it has this electric sound. Pyong, pyong. My mom threw some finger guns over the steering wheel, and I just thought, oh, mother. And that was when we saw the police cop car lights in the rearview mirror, and we got pulled over, and my mom got her first ticket. And the cop got, do you know how fast you were going? And she said, no, and through tears, she prided herself in her clean record until this day. And the cop said, well, I clocked you going 91 and a 65. So I will never forget this song, and now I quite love it because it just makes me laugh. The day
Does your mom get embarrassed every time you bring it up?
Yes, she'd probably be unhappy I was sharing it on this podcast.
Well, I'm glad there's some nostalgia back to it, because it sounded like, when I listened to it, I'm like, is this guy even taking his vocals seriously? It was just such a weird song. Also, can someone tell me what a kashba is? Did I say that right? I don't even know what that is.
I don't know that anyone ever knows. My mom and her siblings said they used to think it's Rock the Cash Box, but it certainly is not. So you can sing any lyrics to this one, Josh. That's the beauty of it.
Okay, that's great. That's a great story. Rock the Cash Bar. All right. Moving on. Song that immediately induces anxiety. Connor, take it away.
Cotton Eye Joe by Rednecks. Whenever I hear this song, I just think of awkward teenage dances, and I hate it. And it just immediately fills me with anxiety, and I just
they actually played this song at dances?
Oh yeah, every single dance, because there's like a line dance to it, and everyone thinks that they have to do the line dance because it's the only dance they know, and then everyone's just in the middle of the dance floor doing this together, and I don't know if anyone actually likes it, but everyone does it just, I don't even know why, but I hate it. And it makes me feel anxious whenever I hear it because it takes me back to those dances.
It's so true. I mean, you click play and his voice comes in at 100%. And then fiddles get up and going and you're like, oh no. Oh no.
I don't understand the I don't understand the creepy woman's voice in there. I had completely forgotten about that as well.
Yeah.
It was already a terrible song, and then this woman's voice just comes in, and it's so creepy.
It's so true. This interlude, you're like, wait, why does this need to be in this song?
Good
It's
glory.
a great answer for that question, Connor.
Did the
Thank
same
you.
people who made Cotton Eye Joe make the hamster dance? Because I feel like they're the same song.
Probably.
Good glory.
Just amping up my anxiety thinking about the hamster.
Also, do you think the people that created these songs, you know, when they have their millions and they're living in their mansions because this one song made them famous, do you think they feel pride at their accomplishments, or do they just refuse to admit how they got their millions?
That's a great question. I can see him coming up. So, tell us, how did you become a millionaire? I'd prefer not to say.
Cotton Eye Joe, you ever heard of it? I wrote that song. Yeah. I would feel like I would need a police escort or something if I was walking around telling people the song that I'd written like that. All right. Christian, what's your song that causes immediate anxiety?
You know, this one was hard because I feel like a pretty easygoing person, but I truthfully don't love the Moana soundtrack, and I think almost everyone else does. And Shiny, for example, I just don't love that song. I think it's poorly written. I don't like the notes used. I don't like the lyrics used. So every time it comes on, I start to tense up and cringe. Lin-Manuel Miranda is talented, no doubt, but there's something about some of his songs. I put Hamilton on here not because I outright hate that. In fact, I love the play and I love the musical and I've seen it. And but those songs don't leave my head for at least a week, if anyone even sings the song. And so anytime Jenica, it comes on a playlist of hers or something, I'm like, skip, quick. So that was my answer there.
Hamilton is interesting. I was in London for a study abroad. I saw Hamilton. I think I chose to see Hamilton over Les Mis, which is probably to this day one of the biggest regrets that I have in my life. But I hadn't really listened to the Hamilton music before, and so when I showed up, I had no idea what they were saying in their songs. Like, I couldn't understand a single thing, and maybe it was because I was far back on a balcony or something. The only time I remember being at all engaged in that play was just when King George walked out, and I'm like, he's kind of a silly guy. But I didn't understand any of the lyrics to any of the songs. But I think we dislike Hamilton for different reasons. For you, it's the songs won't ever leave your head.
It's true, and we watched it first on Disney Plus during COVID, again, and I think another time with the subtitles on, and so we were able to get past the speed of the rapping and comprehension. But I don't know, some of his songs, Lin-Manuel, they don't jive with me. That's all I'll say.
Okay. The song of my choice, or the song that causes me anxiety, is Top of the World by the Carpenters. My mom is going to hate that I'm mentioning this. All of us in the family, we always give my mom such a hard time for loving the Carpenters, but my mom and my dad talk all the time so proudly about Carpenters concerts that they went to when they were our age. But it is truly just a terrible sound. It's too happy. Like, I love happy songs, but this one is just too happy. And the woman's voice is beautiful. Like, it really is truly beautiful, and I just wish that it had been used in a different setting. But it's just too overtly bouncy and happy. I feel like it is perfect for some, like, TV montage of some happy advertisement or something that people would listen to in a senior living home. I just really hate the song. It causes anxiety immediately. And my mom always played it, so.
There's like a hick undertone to it, I think, too. When it comes on, that brum, 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 is very hick to me. And then, there's something about her kind of swoopy singing style too that is quite funny.
You're right. It almost could be played like over some really sad scenes, or like in a horror movie maybe. and it would fit really well. Like any Carpenter song you could plug into a horror movie and it would just make it 100 times creepier.
It's a great point.
Yeah. All right, next question. Song that I can't help myself from dancing to. Connor.
The one that I put was "Seeing Stars" by Borns. Just the sound of the music, it's really upbeat, catchy. And I actually didn't like it for a little while after we all found it during our freshman year of college, because I liked it so much that I used it for my alarm in the morning, and then I didn't like it for a while. But now that I have had some distance from using it as an alarm, I really like it again, and it's hard not to dance to.
Well, we were all there for the Borns concert that we went to in Salt Lake, and Mr. Wives was the leading band, Borns was the invited band, and the lead singer of Mr. Wives got sick or something, so the whole concert was canceled. But all of us, as we were standing outside in line, the Borns lead singer came out and he played a bunch of songs for us on his acoustic guitar. Did anyone else think he was super high at the time that he was playing music for us?
Of course.
Yeah. And like looking at the picture that we took with him, he just does not look there.
Way stoned. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a great song, also nostalgia packed. Christian, what's your song?
You know, I dumped way too many answers onto this one, and I apologize, but there's a few that they come on and instantly gets me going. To Be Loved by Lizzo was a song I never really heard, and it was offered to me on Spotify at work. And I was moving in my seat. I just couldn't stop. This is one of those, we talked about dancing in the car, that I just pumped all the dancing out that I could on my way home from work that day, and then showed Jen. But Lost in Yesterday has that same effect. Totally different genre, but great sound, great first beat, picks up right away, and really gets me moving. And Hot and Cold by Katy Perry has that same effect as well. So I think all of these affect me the same way, even though they're a different genre or a different sound.
I'm going to make a comment on that Lizzo song. That was the first time that I'd ever heard it. But there was a scene, or not a scene, there was once the song gets to the chorus, the bass line reminded me immediately of two different songs that aren't at all in the same genre. See if I'm totally off on this. The bass line reminded me of the DuckTales theme song. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I don't even know the DuckTales.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like the ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da DuckTales. Okay, that was one song. The other song was My Sharona.
Oh,
boom,
yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm talking about? The bass line was so similar to both of those songs. But it was really groovy.
That happens, Josh, and I remember thinking that as well about an entirely different song. But often you're pulling influences into these great songs, and I think what makes a song catchy or great is replicated often in a lot of these.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then Lost in Yesterday, oh my gosh, Tame Impala has some of the best intros of any songs that I've ever heard. If you can get like caught in that first 10 seconds of a song, I think the intro in Lost in Yesterday is just amazing. Such an amazing groove.
Yeah, I think his first name is Kevin, if I'm remembering right, and he gives a lot of interviews about his music, but one of the things that fascinates me is he's first and foremost a drummer, and then everything else comes from there. So he has beats that comes into his head first, and then he builds a song around that, which seems like a very logical and intelligent way to go about writing music, catchy music, that is. So it's a great song.
Yeah, it really is a good one.
Josh, tell us about Tom Misch.
Tom Misch is top 3 favorite artists of all time, especially a solo artist. He's just a young guy living in London. His music is maybe a little bit too groovy and disco for most people, but oh my gosh, his bass lines are incredible, and I can't help but dance to them. And I also love the fact that he has like this really, I don't know how else to describe it except a lazy voice, but it's just such a mellow, calming voice that isn't rushed at all, and it doesn't really get excited, but it complements this like groovy, beat heavy music so well. I don't know. I love it. I think everyone should go listen to Tom Misch.
I was listening to this, the song being "It Runs Through Me," and it had like the sound of samba a little bit. Again, that
Yes.
groovy. I felt like it could have fit in the movie The Holiday, which is like a chick flick, but there's just some great sound to it. It was really good.
Yeah. A lot of his songs are like that. He does have some slower, more lo-fi sounding songs, but he does have a lot of really groovy songs. Disco, yes, is another good one. Yeah, I love Tom. Okay, moving on to the next question. Song for a nostalgic slideshow. I'm going to go ahead and start us on this one. I know Giveon is huge right now. Everybody is listening to Giveon and loving his music. This was actually the first song that I ever heard of his, and it's from the motion picture Amsterdam. But the song is Time. And this is not a song that I would be playing like at a wedding slideshow or like a happy sort of a nostalgic occasion. I would be playing this song if someone was like leaving for a long time. I would play this song just to pull all of the heartstrings. It starts so slow and it kind of builds this, probably one of the most emotion packed songs that I know of, but the words are just really beautiful and the music is all encompassing. I just love it.
Yeah, this was a grand sounding performance. And I remember seeing the trailer for Amsterdam. Looked great. I mean, I love Christian Bale and anything, but listening to this song, like the message was a little bit nostalgic as well to like put paired with a grand sound performance. So it was great. Great selection. I hadn't
Grand
heard
is
it
a good
before.
word for it. A very cinematic feeling, sweeping sounds. All right. Christian, you want to tell us about yours?
Yeah, Take Care by the Beach House has this California sound to it, and every time it comes on, I can only picture a sunset and maybe looking over an ocean. Or I think Beach House has a lot of those tones in their songs, and I would not hesitate to put this against a slideshow of nostalgic photos and experiences and memories.
Yeah, I totally agree. It was a perfect slideshow song, and it felt like the song was all about. It felt like a travel song to me as well, but I really loved the lyrics, just about caring for other people and really sweet, sentimental messages in that song.
Yeah.
I thought were great. Okay, Connor, finish us off on this question. What's your song for nostalgic slideshow?
I chose "Here Comes the Sun" by the Beatles. That's just a song I've always liked. It's just been kind of a classic throughout my whole life, and it's a song I think most people like, or at least are familiar with, and just kind of the happy, upbeat tune and the optimistic words is nostalgic for me.
Man, the Beatles pull through in so many ways, and that song continues to just be one of the happiest, great songs of all time.
This one fits as a great start to any movie, any like happy, even like a good chick flick. The guitar picking so great. And Josh, you recently rediscovered the Beatles, didn't you? As an artist that you love, they weren't an artist you would always listen to. Is that correct?
Well, I grew up listening to the Beatles, but we listened to just their greatest hits, and so I went back through some of their music and discovered songs that people don't talk about that often or don't remember. They have some gems, and not all of their songs are like super bouncy 60s cliches. they have some really sweet, sentimental songs, and I'm glad this one became as popular as it did. But they have a lot of other ones that are similar, really beautiful songs.
They also have some really weird ones, but the really good ones are really good. And yeah, I feel like there's something everyone can find that they like.
Very true. I think I have one on my playlist that is an obscure one I hadn't heard before, but they're not my go-to. But every once in a while, they've got these great ones, and "Here Comes the Sun" is definitely one of those.
That's good. All right, this next one we're gonna get a little bit a little arrogant, but song that I listen to when I'm feeling too amazing for my own good. Connor, what's your song of choice?
I chose "I'm Good" by the Mowgli's. This was one that I discovered during our freshman year of college, and I mean, the lyrics are just kind of arrogant by themselves. I mean, the lyrics are like, "I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, living life just like I should." It's like, I'm good, I'm doing everything right, which is not usually the case for me. But in those moments when I do feel that, it says exactly what I'm feeling.
I love it. Connor, this song is so you, and not that you're an arrogant person, but it is such a happy, go lucky song. And I think if you were to encapsulate freshman year in one song for you, or at least how I remember it, this is such a good one for that feeling. So that is a great song. All right,
Very,
Christian, what's your choice?
Yeah, I chose another 2000s early high school pop hit, "Cooler Than Me," specifically the single mix with Mike Posner and Gigamash. This song, every time I put it on, I can't help but just feel like this terrible, cocky, arrogant guy that I throw on a pair of shades and I just jam out to this one. It's very easy to feel pretty good about yourself when you listen to this. I mean, the lyrics too are basically calling someone else out for being that arrogant person in your life and saying, you might think you're cooler than me, but you're not. And so I'll turn to this every once in a while when I need it. Keep it in my back pocket.
Okay, yeah. I mean, let's be clear. It's not a bad thing to feel good about yourself. So I think in those, Connor's right. I don't have too many of those moments in my life where I'm like really confident and happy. So it is good to have these songs and to be able to enjoy your little victories and successes day to day. And I thought that was a funny image of throwing on shades, like when you're in a car or something and driving and listening to this type of music. I remember when I needed to get hyped for like classes at a day of school, or when I was feeling really confident or needed confidence, I just put in my earphones and I would blast songs like these, and I'd just stroll around on campus. I had such a huge strut, and it's almost like a feeling like everybody else can hear the song as if it's playing over the speakers, like on campus or wherever you're at. Everybody else is hearing the song and seeing how cool you are, but in reality, no one else is hearing anything. But you still got that strut, you still got that confidence. I think it's a great feeling.
You know, it's funny you bring that up, Josh, because there was one day our friend Max Wright and I, in a gutsy stroke of confidence, actually put a speaker on our backpacks and then walked down from the highest, Heritage Halls building down to the testing center to take a test, trying to generate confidence to get a good grade. But man, was that probably so obnoxious that people remember this. Hopefully, though, we're giving off good vibes and excitement and spreading smiles rather than, man, those obnoxious kids.
Oh man, I love it. My song of choice for when I'm feeling arrogant is "Still Feel Like Your Man" by John Mayer. Not really a song that's entirely about confidence, but the first line I think is the most arrogant line in the world. And when I'm feeling really cocky, this is one that resonates with me. But he says, "The prettiest girl in the room, she wants me. I know because she told me so." I'm like, oh my gosh, how arrogant can you get? But I love it. I play that song when I'm like going to parties, or I just got off a good date or something like that. The rest of the song is really sad because he's just singing about a girl that doesn't want him. But that first line, that's really, really cocky.
You know, this song, Josh, especially his chorus, "Still feel like a man." It sounded a lot to me like the Bee Gees a little bit. They have a song, "More Than a Woman." Those notes all seemed to kind of mesh well when I was listening to this.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought it was a fun song by John Mayer, and a little bit of a diversion from his typical style, but really, really good.
I love that he's always had like this soul background or influence in his music. He plays a lot of soulful guitar, but this one was just really groovy and soulful to the max. I loved it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Song for when I need to slow things down. This kind of is related to the contemplative song, so maybe we'll just cruise through this one for time's sake. But song that you listen to when you need to slow things down. I'm going to go ahead and start us out. My song of choice is called Slow Burn by Casey Musgraves. This album is incredible. I'm going to talk more about that later, but this song in particular, it's a song that I could listen to and never get sick of. I'm pretty sure it's just about weed and smoking weed. I'm not really a weed guy, but it is so relaxing, and I think it literally just calms and slows my heart rate, whatever I'm doing. So this is one that I play consistently when I need to slow things down.
I couldn't agree more with that, Josh. I turn to this one all the time. This is a record that we've actually purchased in record form, and it's very easy to put on and so soothing. It's the same reason why I chose my song San Luis by Gregory Alan Isakov. It just takes it down a notch, lowers my heart rate. Again, that contemplative vibe kind of comes in and really softens up what I'm experiencing that day.
This is what I'm imagining, like if you had a cool evening after a hard day's work and you were sitting out on your porch at a farm or something, and you're just sitting there taking in the sunset, sitting with people that you love, or you're just slowing things down like that. That's the image that comes to mind with both of these songs.
Yeah.
Just not a care in the world, just slowing things down. All right, Connor, what's yours?
Mine is As It Was by Harry Styles, which is
This
a very
one's a little
popular
more-
song.
Yeah, this one's a little more upbeat, so I was curious why you chose this song for your slow things down.
I think that it's the beat I really like behind it, just kind of the melody. And it just reminds me of like good times. And so it kind of helps me get out of my head sometimes when I need to just kind of chill a little bit and relax.
So upbeat in a way that takes you away from current stresses and just helps you to feel a little bit more peace.
Right.
Get out of your own head. I love that.
Any song that has the power to do that is worth listening to, because we all need something like that can take us out of where we're at and put us somewhere else.
That little kid's voice at the beginning of that song is so cute. That was such a genius move on his part.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. As much as I push back against Harry Styles, he does have amazing gems out there. And I know why he's so popular. He has great music. All right. Song. Oh, I'm so excited for this question. Song that I'd blast over the speakers as I walk onto a stage to do something like public speaking, but it would be like your entrance song. Christian, what is yours?
Yeah, let's get mine out of the way, because I could not think of an answer. Mainly, probably because I've never pictured myself on a stage public speaking. I've never channeled that image. So I threw Clocks by Coldplay on there. I love Clocks. I love Coldplay. This was a favorite song as a kid, but probably a weak answer when you consider this setting of coming onto a stage. I was truthfully more impressed by your answers. I felt like, we'll get to both of yours, but Connor's, I was like, oh, of course, this makes so much sense. And Josh, yours just cracked me up. It was fantastic. Let's hear about yours.
Well, okay, I want to talk about Clocks though. That is a great song for you as well, and I think that would be a great intro song if you were to ever do public speaking. Maybe this whole public speaking thing, walking on a stage, is just a dream of mine. So I've always thought about like, what would my awesome entrance song be? But I think Clocks is an excellent answer.
Oh, thank
I
you.
think that's great. And Connor, you also chose a Coldplay song. What's yours?
Yeah, mine is A Sky Full of Stars, which when Christian put down Clocks, that's kind of what got me thinking. But I think Clocks was a great choice. And A Sky Full of Stars, I think, is just another just great walkout song. And I almost feel like I've, in like a movie or something, I feel like I've almost even seen someone walk out to this song. So it just kind of came to mind as soon as I read this question.
This was like a, duh, of course, kind of an answer. When I read that, I thought, yeah, like I hear that song and I can picture Connor walking out to a stage to an eruption of applause as people are pumped to hear you speak. So that's the image that came to my mind instantly.
And I can just see him as soon as the song ends. He's like, as I look out to you today and I see you all in the audience, what I see is a sky full of stars.
Oh.
Just joking. No, you don't. You wouldn't say that, but I think those are both great songs. Yeah. I had a hard time choosing because for the longest time I thought Uncle Rico's song from Napoleon Dynamite would be my primary choice. You know, when he drives up in the van, it's like I would choose a song that just made people laugh and caught people off guard. That would be total antithesis to like, imagine like a tech company that was putting on a presentation and they had like techno heavy music. It was like,
yep.
And I would want to choose something that was completely opposite of those, that just threw people off and got them laughing and made them feel comfortable. So that's why the choice that I ended up choosing is a song called Willoughby from the major motion picture, I believe, made in 1997, Sense and Sensibility. If I may sing just a portion of this song so you can get
Please.
a sense of what it is. And it's very like dance hall music from the 1700s. And I thought, who else would play that as an entrance song, public speaking? And
Only
maybe
you.
I would just flit out. Maybe I'd do some skipping. I wouldn't walk out. That would seem wrong. And maybe I would just dance out. I don't know.
Well,
anyways,
Josh, the right song, because it absolutely did that for me when I clicked play. Instant laughter. It just made me happy picturing you coming out, and it did that. It throws you off from what you're expecting to hear from this presenter, and excellent choice, my friend.
Oh, thank you. I'm a sucker for Jane Austen, so anytime I can throw a Jane Austen related song in there, I love it. Not a song I'd listen to on my own, ever, but all right, next song. We're getting a little serious. Song that I listen to when I'm feeling at my lowest. Connor, what song did you choose?
I chose Stay Alive by Jose Gonzalez, which is one I mentioned earlier. But it's just, again, just a very peaceful song for me. And it's a song that we listen to all the time freshman year. I feel like, especially like late at night when we're all just kind of relaxing after the day, it just always made me feel peaceful. So when I feel low, I listen to it, and it's another one of those just memory things. It just reminds me of a very happy time for me, and it kind of brings up my spirits again.
I am so glad the movie A Secret Life of Walter Mitty brought Jose Gonzalez to light and made him as beloved as he is now, because his music is so simple, but it is just so beautiful. And yeah, I also have amazing memories that pop up every time I listen to that song, and it is so relaxing and wonderful.
Connor, I agree, and I just think that song is so soothing, and it's so reassuring and comforting. And Josh, you were talking about how glad you are that they brought him on, and it just goes to show the strength that music can have when you just pare it back down to the basics of good lyrics, good singing, good vocals, and some simple acoustics to back it up. So that was a great option for this one, Connor.
Awesome. I'll go ahead and share next. And the song that I chose is Waves No Shores. I don't know how I found this song. This is probably a Spotify recommendation, but it's on my calming playlist. It doesn't really have any inspiring lyrics or anything like that. But in terms of feeling, the song is one of those songs that just helps me to feel when I'm trying to like skirt away from really difficult feelings. I don't want to feel them. This one puts me in the present and faces me with all of those very, very low feelings. And sometimes that is just really nice. A lot of times I just want to get away, find a way to be happier. But when I'm at those low moments and I really just want to feel everything that's going on, this song takes me there.
Josh, this one, I was listening to it, and I couldn't help but feel like this was a balm for your emotions. Just something you'd kind of put on when you need to heal, and I thought it was a great one. There's a line in there that says, love, like love knows loss, waves knows shores. Botched that, but I just think that was a great line in a really, really soothing song.
Thank you. Yeah, it has been a balm for me. I love it. All right, Christian.
You know, my answer for this one, Sound the Bugle. This one is a huge song for me. We talk about being touched when driving. I was at quite the low, and I listened to this song. Well, actually, it just came on. So it was one of those, is serendipitous the right word, or coincidental moments? I don't believe too much in those coincidences. You know, I think I was meant to hear that at that time, but there is a line in it that says, if you lose yourself, or I need to back up. It says, then from on high, somewhere in the distance, there's a voice that calls, remember who you are. If you lose yourself, your courage soon will follow. So be strong tonight. Remember who you are. And that cut straight through any of the chaos in my life, straight to me. It was absolutely what I needed to hear at my low point, and it kept me going. So I turn to that one often when I need that.
And that is from the Spirit soundtrack?
Yeah.
I remember you talking about Spirit. Was this like 2017 that you had that experience?
This was 2017, I would say 2017, 2018, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Okay. I remember you talking about this and recounting that experience and how moved you were by the Spirit soundtrack and this song in particular. And I'll also point out again, this is another Hans Zimmer song, isn't it?
Yeah, Hans Zimmer collab, DreamWorks movie. It hits a few of those notes we've made previously, but a great song from a great soundtrack, great movie, and it hits deep if you listen. So great.
Thank heavens for songs like those that are able to cut through all of the hard things that are happening in life and be able to touch us. And my gosh, if I didn't have some of the songs that we've talked about, there would be no other way that I'd feel like seen or heard. Music just has a beautiful way of doing that. So I'm really glad that you had that song to listen to and that song was put in your path at that time. Excellent. Okay. A little more of an energizing question, but best summer bop. I'm going to go ahead and start. It's a song called Bedroom Eyes by the Knocks and Studio Killers. Honestly, I love the Knocks and all their collabs that they do with other people. This one is just a song that I love dancing to. It's just boppy. It has bass, it has beat, falsetto. It's carefree. I don't know if I need to say much more than that. I can't really describe lyrically or Oh, jeez. I can't really describe lyrically why I love this song. Apparently, I'm getting a phone call. Can you guys hear that vibrating coming through?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. I can't really describe why I love that song, except it's just bouncy and fun to listen to. It's a good summer song.
I have a question about this one.
Yeah.
Between the two of you, just curious, what music platform software do you use to listen to your music?
Spotify.
Spotify, Josh, Connor?
Spotify.
Do you have the Canvas options turned on in your settings that show short reels of videos while your songs play?
Yeah.
You've seen that. For those that don't have Spotify, this is something they have. The canvas for this song is absolutely hilarious. It's like in a grocery store, people dancing. There's a lizard Komodo dragon thing. It's fantastic. There's like an old woman waving a gun, some 20-age peers of ours, and a man dancing his way out of a midlife crisis. So having that as the backdrop for this song just made it all that better.
Okay, well, I don't know if that's going to motivate people to listen to it. I didn't even know that was the real video for that, but that's really funny. That's a good sort of chaos, I guess, for a very bouncy song.
They're having a great time, and I think that's what this song provides for people. So it was a good choice.
All right, Christian, what's yours?
My summer bops are Happy Hour by Weezer, Army of One by Coldplay. I'll just talk about Happy Hour. I just loved this song. And again, the tone of the song instantly pairs well for me with sunny weather and just a good time hanging on the beach. Again, it's kind of a song about drinking, finding that happy hour. But for me, when I listen to it, I just think of good times that I spent with good people in good places.
Weezer amazes me so much. Like all of their albums that they're still coming out with, how long have they been making music now? Like my older siblings listened to Weezer when they were in high school. We're still listening to Weezer. And they just continue to produce happy beats, amazing songs that are fun to dance to. I love that song, Happy Hour. That whole album is
Great
awesome.
album.
All right. Great. Connor.
I chose Cecilia and the Satellite by Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness. And that's just another one that's just a very happy sounding song for me. And it's just one that I like to listen to with the windows rolled down, just driving in the summer. Not a care in the world. And I've realized just throughout, like when I was choosing all my songs, I've realized that a lot of my music, like my real music opinions, started in college. And I think it's because you two are so passionate about music. And so I started thinking about it a lot more, especially freshman year, and then that just carried through the rest of college. And so Andrew McMahon in the Wilderness was not someone that I had ever heard of. But if I'm remembering right, I think Christian showed me this song. And it was, just one that's always stuck with me.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, This is a great road trip traveling song. It's amazing. There was also a line in here that I rewinded to, but things I've noticed from a broken mirror, how a face can change when a heart knows fear. Wow, that was a beautiful line. I just thought about that for a second. Very poetic. But Connor, for whatever influence we had on you for music, I mean, you're a music connoisseur now yourself. Obviously, you've established your own taste in music, and now you just need to pay it forward, and indoctrinate other people. But I would say, Christian, you were the more musically inclined. So I would also say Christian had a lot of influence on me as well with music. Christian was the first one that showed me Coldplay, one of my all-time favorite bands, and somehow I hadn't listened to Coldplay until I got to college and met Christian. And that, when was that? I think it was the summer before we all moved away. It was the Milo Zelato album that Christian recommended to me, and I had a job. I was in a mail office. I was just sorting mail, and I listened to that album on repeat every single day for 3 months straight and just blasted it. And the first time that I had ever heard that, thanks to Christian. But yeah, definitely
Well,
a
I don't know that I
game
can take
changer.
the amount of credit that you're giving me, but I think I disagree. When you can find your true style and you become more open to these different genres, I think you just burst your music selection wide open and you get to hear a lot of these other things. My mom always says there's something to love, or that you can always find something you love in any song. So I've tried to have that mentality.
I love that. All right. Next question. This one is an interesting one. I would say, Connor, you're probably the most interested in country music. Christian, would you say you are a country fan?
You know, I've been exposed to more country, especially through my wife's family and through trips to Lake Powell. That setting brings out a lot of their country music. So I've been exposed to more of it. And I think I can say that I've grown to love it more than I did as a kid. That answers your question.
A little bit of hesitancy there. It still is difficult for me to really get into, but I'm kind of the same way slowly with time as people have introduced different artists. I think Thomas Rhett was a good gateway artist for me because he was a little more poppy. But stuff like that I could get behind, eventually I've come around a little bit. So this question is, what is your favorite country song in the professional opinion of three white city boys who are the exact opposite of country people? Connor, as the resident expert, we're going to let you take this one away.
Country is very much like a summer genre for me. But I chose Buy Dirt by Jordan Davis and Luke Bryan. And I just really like that one because, I mean, the whole idea behind the song is like, buy dirt, it's like something that lasts. And it's kind of like, and the song talks about like buying a place for your family to be and some place that you can just always be safe and connect and be together. And so that's kind of why I really like it, is it's like a very wholesome song, just talking about like money doesn't really matter. Just use it for things that bring you together with people. So I really like it.
That is
if
probably the
any
most
genre...
country. Oh, go ahead, Christian.
No, sorry, Josh. I just was saying it's a great song that Connor picked. And if there's any genre that does a better job of providing songs with messages, I think it's the genre of country music.
I would totally agree with that. And I was going to say as well, I don't know of any country song that has a title that's more country. Buy Dirt. You would not find that in any other genre. All right, Christian, what's your country song of choice?
I chose Rewind by Rascal Flatts, and I'll confess, Josh, I think your answer and my answer lean more on the pop side of country.
Yep.
So we're really outing ourselves here, but this one is just, it's passionate. Rascal Flatts does a great job. It's pretty fun. Some others I'll just throw out there that I think lean closer to Connor's answer. And Connor, you might know these are Sunrise, Sunburn, Sunset, Repeat, and I believe most people are good. I think those are more of those messagey type country songs. Although Rewind is also a great, just a happy, fun song.
Yeah, I would say your country song and my country song are pretty similar.
Yeah.
I chose Somebody Like You by Keith Urban. It just encapsulates everything that I think about when I think of country, happy, upbeat, a celebration of life, really, is how I envision all country music.
Oh, yeah.
Please join us for part 2 of this episode.